So, for quite obvious reasons, men are checking out. Real reason, women are quickly losing men. Let's get right into it. Here we go. Up and
More single women in the U.S. own houses than single men. They're getting taller every year. And the reason he uses height is that 50% of women say they won't date a guy shorter than them. It's probably more like 80%. And even if they're not cognizant of it, just anthropologically, subconsciously, they're just usually not attracted to men shorter than them because they have something telling them that this individual is less likely to be able to physically protect you. So you're just at a disadvantage from a height standpoint. Now, metaphorically, women are getting taller every year and men are getting shorter, right? Men mate socioeconomically horizontally.
You know, this fucking guy, right? This bald-headed, ugly fuck. Just wanted to get that out there. He probably didn't even look good when he was younger either. But this fucking ugly, bald-headed fuck, I don't know why he always like talks down on men, bro. I've seen like clips in his takes. He's always just talking down on men with his fucking monotone ass voice. Like, shut your bitch ass up. You might as well just be a chick, bro, because he'd be siding with women, and he don't even be defending men at all. But that was just sorry. I had to get that out on this bald-headed fuck.
Horizontally and down, women horizontally and up. But when the pool of men who are socioeconomically senior to women, it just means that the quote-unquote pool of viable mates for women is going down every year. And women have...
See what I'm saying? See what the fuck I'm saying? Like, this guy, man.
Been told they can have it all. And what I found is you can't have it all. Or let me put it this way. You can have it all, you just can't have it all at once. And that... to focus on their careers, which, by the way, I think is a good thing. I think economic viability is just super important for everyone, including women. But the reality is, as they have gotten taller, men have gotten shorter, so there's just less pairing. Society has a tendency to evaluate a woman's success through the lens of her romantic success. Not as much for men. People look at you and think, and I don't know your relationship status, but people look at you like, guy who's killing it. He's killing it, and he's single. Oh my God, it's good to be Stephen Bartlett. A woman in her 30s who's killing a professional is alone. It's like super successful, but you're
well, yeah. I mean, for obvious reasons, man. I mean, in the day, no guy ever cares, or no one like. The thing that this feminism bullshit fails to realize, and this guy seems that like he's a feminist as well with his weird ass. He just looks like a fucking weirdo, and he probably is. You know, assumptions usually aren't always correct, but assumptions do hold weight. You assume things for a reason. But anyways, yeah. So back to what this asshole was saying about how like when women are single, like they can be successful and all, and there's a but. Well, yeah, I mean, but the fact that you literally can get any guy you fucking want for the most part, but you still fail to manage to lock a guy down that was willing to have kids with you, and that's still with you, then yes, you are a fucking failure. Okay? Obviously, dating for women and dating for men is completely different. Men can just take what they get. Women really actually can get what they want. So yeah, there's a massive but there, because I don't know why women still can drop the ball when they literally are given shit on a silver platter. So that's why there's a massive but, dumbass.
Single status is a feature. For women, it's seen as a bug. And you both might be just as lonely. But or you might be engaging in, and I'm projecting here, I have no idea what your situation is here. But there's this dynamic where the men who are in the top 10% can engage in Porsche polygamy. And that is women with online dating now believe, there's something wrong with this, that, and this is going to get me in trouble, but let's rate everybody. Most people will acknowledge that some people are more attractive than others, and they find certain people less and more attractive. Yeah, like a woman of average attractiveness can have a relationship, and when I say relationship, that's code for sex, with someone who's in the top 10%. But that individual is probably not going to establish a long-term relationship. And because of the lack of friction and connection and meeting people via text message or online dating, the top 10% of men are getting 80+ % of the opportunities for short-term relationships or sex. So they can engage in what's called Porsche polygamy, and that there's not a lot of motivation for them to establish long-term relationships, which leads to bad behavior and a lack of household formation. So the guys that most women want and believe that they should be in a relationship with are the least likely to establish a long-term relationship. And then the bottom 90 either have little or absolutely no interest from women. So I want to be clear, no woman is responsible for servicing a man. But what I think has happened is this dynamic where, because online has given everyone access to everyone, the majority of women are all interested in the same group. And this group is now much less likely to engage in a long-term relationship. And the result is just there's a disproportionate number of men and women who, quite frankly, are just lonely. But men have a tendency, when they don't have a romantic relationship, to not only not have that romantic relationship, but then they have fewer friends. They go out less. They're less professionally successful. You know, if I didn't have a mate who told me we need to save for a house, I'm not sure I wouldn't have been smoking pot and drinking every night. You know, she was like, if you want to continue to have a relationship and have sex with me, you've got to get your shit together. Young men need that. They need the guardrail of a romantic interest, the cocktail or the peanut butter and chocolate of a household where one person is more risk aggressive. You know, that's really important. And pushing the boundaries of what can be done. And then another person who's more practical. And that oftentimes goes into gender roles. Not always, and sometimes it's flipped. But that's a powerful combination. 1 + 1 really does equal 3. And across every species, you see that the majority of really wonderful things, including offspring, but other things in terms of building a society, are a mix of different attributes. And so we have just fewer and fewer of that peanut butter and chocolate in households. There are now more people not only living alone, but living with their parents than ever before, because they're not establishing this relationship. So it's absolutely bad for women, but typically, women still are economically successful, still find places to put that love, and quite frankly, don't start killing themselves or killing others.
Yeah. Okay. And why are you on women's side again as a bald-headed man? When you just said that men literally are out here offing themselves and possibly becoming school. Pew, 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 pew. Continue to roll this beautiful bean footage.
So it's not that it's any less bad, but the knock-on effects tend to be less bad for society.
And I went through the research from the Pew research, but also from the sort of Centers of Disease Control, just to clarify some of these numbers for women as well. And they cement everything you've said. Only 13% of women over 30 were married in 1970. That number has now risen to almost half. The divorce rate for women over 30 has doubled in the past 50 years. In 1970, only 10% of women over 30 were childless. Today, that number has risen to almost 30%. In 1970, only 28% of women over 30 were earning more than their husbands. Today, that number has risen to almost 50%. And in 1970, only 12% of women over 30 were living alone. Today, that number has risen to 35%. And on the point of loneliness, I was looking at how many men versus how many women have a best friend. And it's multiples more. So multiple more women still have relationships regardless of this state of affairs, because they're better at, as you say, forming social connections in non-romantic relationships with other women than men are. So it's a pretty bleak picture. And maybe most importantly of all, there's a clear direction of travel here. Mm-hmm. And if you extrapolate out that direction of travel, we don't get to a good place. Population decline you spoke of, and how that lopsided society, depression, mental health, suicide. So the question becomes, for me, what would you advise young men? You talked about money. I thought that was really interesting. So maybe we start there. Personal finance and establishing that.
Well, I advise young men to ultimately just, if you want the women, you gotta just give them what they want. You have to understand that they're better than you, and you need to bow on a knee and worship them, and they may help you in your misery. I'm surprised he wouldn't say some stupid shit like that.
I'm a young man, so say 21 years old. What have I got to do with my money? Where should I be putting it? How should I be earning it?
Mm-hmm. So I think the three legs of the stool, we're going back to it, reallocating capital as a young man. One, start making some money. to put yourself in environments where you might have a random encounter with a stranger. Also, and I know you engage in this, we're going to reallocate 4 to 6 hours a week to physical fitness. How much money you make, it's your ability to live a little bit like a stoic and live below your means. And that's one thing I always did. I always lived below my means. I never had debt. I never used credit cards for stuff. And that is incredibly hard in our society, where every talented person and now AI and algorithms are finding you at a moment of vulnerability and convincing you that you need a new set of on trainers. That, oh wait, it's worth it to upgrade from economy to economy comfort to economy plus to business class. How hard would you try to get as much of that capital to put in that box? The power of diversification and time, because if you diversify, I can get you 6 to 8% a year, right?
All right. I just wanted to really just look at that clip. Let's take a look at these comments, shall we? 3 most stress-reducing things in my life have been living below my means, saving and investing, and of course, staying single. Staying single equals staying free. I mean, look, there's 2 ways you can look at that. There's some truth in that, but you can also look at that as like cope. As like, nigga, you don't have a choice. Like, you would have been single anyways. Which, unfortunately, is the reality for a lot of guys. When I met my husband, he was neither ambitious nor successful, rich or tall. Just an average guy. Well, that was a really good listener, caring, funny, honest, and loyal. He's not rich or successful 23 years later, but he's still caring, funny, honest, loyal, and a really good listener. We're happy together. We're average, middle class, average people with an average life, and that's probably why we're happy. There you go. I want to be clear here. No man is responsible for servicing a woman. Yeah. 100%. But he won't say that because he's a bitch. All I hear is it's okay for women to not be traditional, followed by women like traditional men. Make sure you make yourself the more traditional. You can attract women. Yeah, no. Yeah, pretty much, bro. Why are there so many videos telling men to do better? I'm sick of it. I don't want to do better. I want to be happy for me. Fair enough. So men should go out, better themselves, make money, make themselves more attractive so women will pick them and then divorce them and take half of everything he has earned, because having this ridiculous conversation without discussing that 52% of marriages end in divorce, with 76% of women filing for said divorce, is sheer stupidity. With respect, both of you are 2 simping fools to have this conversation without dealing with the reality first. Thank you, bro. These are some fucking weird ass niggas, bro. Fuck these niggas, man. Maybe it's not about fixing men or women, but about fixing our expectations of love in a world that's no longer built for traditional connection. 100%. So, yeah, pretty much every millionaire, billionaire, rock star, film star, sports star you could think of are divorced or with a past full of broken relationships. Having a plan or being successful matters little when divorce law encourages divorce, right? Nah, he's making it sound as if men are actively choosing to stay single. Men adapt their surroundings. We aren't playing the game because the you-know-whos aren't worth playing for. 100%. What a putting paste of a man. Men do not need women to make them... this dude, this fucker right here. What the fuck's this guy's name? What, Professor and Scott Galloway? We about to roast this nigga real quick. Let's roast this nigga. You know what? I'm about to toast this nigga real quick. I'm about to toast this nigga. Oh, this nigga right here. This nigga right here. Oh, fucking fake smile motherfucker. Oh, old motherfucker. You think you are in shape, nigga, but fuck it. Look at this nigga used to look like. Yeah, look at this nigga, bro. You be taking advice from a nigga that look like this? Look at this nigga's face. This nigga don't get no bitches. That's why he's trying to appeal to bitches and women and shit. There's no way this nigga gets hoes. There's no way. Nigga, you in the same boat. Look at you. Nigga, low-key, you look better now. Nigga, look, this nigga still got that same goofy-ass look on his face. Look at this nigga, man. Oh, no. This nigga right here. What's good with this nigga smile? This nigga just smiling like this and shit. The fuck is wrong with this nigga, man? The fuck is wrong with you? Look at this. Look at this nigga. Oh, my God. Oh my God. We're taking advice from this clown. Sup, clown? I ain't never want to bust down. Oh my, the Daily Stoic. You 60 years old, nigga. Shut the fuck up. Look at this nigga right here. This nigga right here. Oh, Mr. Clean having ass nigga. Granted, I don't know if I'll have hair when I'm 60 either. But fuck it. I won't be saying the dumb shit. Oh. This nigga right here. This nigga right here. Look at this goofy looking nigga. What the fuck? Damn. I knew this nigga's just funny. Look at this nigga right. Nigga's best attribute, bro, is he looks like he's decently, like, he's not short. He don't look like he's short. I wouldn't say he looks like he's tall, but he doesn't definitely don't look like he's short. And he's actually in good shape for his age, so I will give him that. But man, this dude's a fucking feminist. I'm out.